following program contains disturbing materials that may not be suitable for some resellers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John with Flip It Ain't Easy. Today I want to talk to you about something I was thinking about yesterday. We had a members only roundtable live stream where we go in and just look at different stores that we come across and start diving deeper into their items to see some of the best practices, some of the things that they're doing well, and some of the things that maybe they can change to improve their sales. And we kind of go over how many items they have in their store versus how many items they've sold in the last 90 days. And during that exercise, it kind of got me to thinking, what is the most optimal way to sell on eBay? And I kind of came to the conclusion that there really is no real optimal way to sell on eBay. In my opinion, a lot of these stores that we came across, they had just a wide range of items, wide range of ASP, which is average sale price. Some items they had were like $3 plus shipping. Some items were like a couple $100. And they're all mashed in together into the same store. And we're not talking about any kind of a niche store. Most of the stores we reviewed really didn't have any niche or a theme or anything like that. And it kind of got me to believing that, I think if you keep all these mishmashed items together without any regard to ASP, what you're doing, I really think it's going to hurt your conversion rate. And talking to Ebert last year, I believe he echoed this a little bit, that if you have poor performing items in your store, which are low demand and in many cases lower ASP, then it does hurt your other items that you're trying to sell. And so what is the best way? What is the best way to proceed? Are you shooting for maybe all you were able to come across are lower ASP items? Do you just shoot for that and maybe shoot for high volume? Because I think at the end of the day, we're trying to make a certain amount of money every day. Or are you shooting for higher ASP, trying to get your ASP up there? Like in my case, my main store is a $75 ASP. And in turn, it's fewer items because there's more handling, more processing with these larger items, larger ASP items. Now, not in every situation. I mean, if you're dealing with iPhones, you're going to have high ASP and there's not going to be a whole lot of work. I mean, other than the formatting of the phone and that type of thing. In my mind, or in my experience, it's been that the higher the ASP, usually the more time you spend on that item. Maybe the lower the ASP, average sale price, maybe the less time you spend on that item. Maybe the more willing you are to set up a template and have all the same item specifics for all those like items than you're listing at once to build a high volume store. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with either of those models. And I think it really depends on what you're able to come across. You're only able to come across low value items, then you need to focus on that. If you're only able to come across higher ASP, or maybe that's your wheelhouse, like in my case, we come across things, or we focus on trying to find things that are over a certain dollar amount before we even consider sourcing it, then focus on that and make that your wheelhouse. I think the big mistake that sellers can make is kind of combining those two stores into one. Maybe you only want to handle one store. What I have found is that my sales were horrendous. This is a little over a couple years ago now that we made this change, but the sales were horrendous. And of course, didn't know that the conversion rate was being affected until we spoke to Ebert when he came on the Profit Playbook podcast late last year. And so that sort of cemented the idea in my mind that having two different stores and having two different business models is kind of the way to go for me. Now, I'm never going to sit here and tell you what to do. I'm telling you what I've found and what I have incorporated into what I'm doing with my business. So what we've done is, and I'll show you here in a second, but what we've done here is we've incorporated 2 stores. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have thousands of items in my stores. In the secondary store with the lower ASP items, I would think in my mind the goal is to somewhat build that up. I'm fine with building a huge store there because I'm dealing with lower ASP items. I do believe, though, that eBay, and this is something we researched with going over the terms and conditions that eBay has laid out, is that if a buyer is searching for, let's say, just any item that you're selling, there is no guarantee that item will come up into search. Now, you can just kind of shrug your shoulders and wonder why eBay wouldn't show your item in somebody's search results. And there's a number of reasons for it. And I do believe eBay they do throttle your sales, and they only allow you to make so much money or so many sales in a given period of time, no matter how large you build your store. Now, I believe eBay does allow you to grow, don't get me wrong, but I do believe that eBay will not allow you to, let's say, list 1,000 iPhones tonight and sell them, unless you're the only one on those SKUs. eBay is going to share the wealth amongst other sellers and promote other sellers' listings to make it so that you're not overwhelmed and not delivering upon a bad buyer experience, which I believe is always on eBay's forefront. Now, of course, they'll never. If you're the only one on that SKU, you'll be in the search results. I'm sure of it, regardless of all that, because eBay wants the sale. Don't get me wrong. eBay's not going to pass up a sale and not show your item because they feel like you've sold too many. But I do believe if you do have competition, if you've sold at eBay, and this is all theory, there's nothing to back up what I'm saying other than experience. But I've seen it too many times where someone like James from the channel is now James Helfer's Day. He's building a huge store, like now over 75,000 items. And he's noticing that the sales aren't scaling as his store is scaling, right? And he's even noticing a decline in the number of items being sold, per month. And to me, my theory is that eBay will sort of arbitrarily set a number, and I don't know, this guy's been selling his stuff for over 23 years. Why, he's not able to sell any more than he has, I'll let you guys conclude that. But my theory is that in some cases, I believe, and in some categories, he might be getting throttled in his sales. And that's just me on the outside looking in. I'll never be able to know what's really going on with someone else's business other than just looking at their store from the outside looking in. So for me, it's no surprise when I have a smaller store. I'm going to show you a couple examples here. This is what I do. So I can't really get focused on what other people are doing. Here's what I'm trying to accomplish. So if we look at my main store. So this is my main store. This is what I spend most of my time focusing on. I buy pallets of liquidation. Usually that involves larger ticket items, higher ASP items. And I have 249 listings currently as we speak. Now, I'm not selling anything special. I'm selling just, from home goods, home improvement stuff to some parts. And really, I have some items on here that really need to get moved over to my my smaller store because they're lower ticket part items, and I should have them on the other store. But nonetheless, not so focused on that. My average sell price is $75, right around $75. Now, I have 249 listed on that store, and I have 428, as you can see here, 428 items sold in the last 90 days. So that, I believe, and I feel that is actually quite outstanding. 249 items, but really add 428 to that number. So I have, 680-ish items that I have had listed on this account in the last 90 days, and 428 of those items have sold. So that's an outstanding sell-through rate by any means, and that's what I pride myself on when I talk to you guys about how you can make sales happen. Don't have to have a huge store to make it happen. But now, a couple years ago, I decided, you know what? These kind of items, I don't know why I have some of these items on here again. Like when these are the solds. When I'm looking at some of these, like this drip tray, this shouldn't be on this account. I don't know what happened here. So the drip tray has to go. I'm going to move the lower ASP items over to my secondary store because I don't want my ASP to be dragged down by $15, $20 items. I'd rather them go here. So this is my secondary account. I have 427 items currently up for sale on that account. And you can see a lot of this happens to be parts, $9, $15, various, I have some that are over that are about 40 bucks that really, if I'm being honest, probably could do better on the main. So it's something I really have to kind of look at here. And I got shoes and accessories, and I have a lot of parts of repair, things that don't work, and things that people buy for parts, and maybe they fix them up and sell them as refurbished. But that's kind of what I'm selling. It's nothing special. I'm sure you can agree. There's nothing special about at all what I'm selling. Some polo shirts and things like that on this account. And the reason why I have the polo shirts and the clothing on this account is because I have these linked through TreeCat, and TreeCat then sends them over to Poshmark, and we cross-list that way. And by the way, if you're cross-listing, go check out TreeCat. Use the code down below, or the link down below in the item, the video description, and get set up there to get a discount on your rates, because you only pay as you succeed, unlike other sites. So I digress. As you see, I have 427 items up for sale, but how many have I sold in the last 90 days? Well, that one's a little different story. I've only sold 280. So we're talking 750 some odd items over the last 90 days, and I've sold only 280. And so, not the ratio that I'm looking for, but I really do feel like the lower demand, lower ASP items, not all ASP items are low demand, but that's usually the likelihood. If you have a lower ASP item, it's probably a lower demand item than something that's a higher ASP item. But you're looking at this here, and my ratio isn't the same or even as close to what I'm doing on the main store. And that's why I think that in order to succeed with this type of store, you really have to deal with volume. I've made $7,667 on this account versus, what did I make on the other account? I made $37,000 on the main, right? Now that's just in sales, running at about a 45 to 48% margin. And so that's kind of what we're looking at here. I have to really scale this up. If I want this store that's currently with more listings, almost twice the listings of my main, I'm only making a quarter, maybe 1/5 of what I'm making in sales on the main store. So that tells me I really have to ramp the size of this store up beyond 427 listings. I think I'd have to be somewhere in the 2,000 to 3,000 range. But what I'm finding is, as you grow this type of store, your sales don't scale along with the size of your store. That's kind of what I found, and by looking at various stores. And in fact, this smaller store, I only had at one point like 250 items, and I was at about 150 to 180 sales in 90 days. So this is not even a scaled store at all. I mean, the goal for me is to get the store up above 1,000, maybe 1,500, 2,000 of these kind of items that I come across all day long. But I have to consider, is the juice worth the squeeze messing with this store over messing with this store that I am currently at $37,000 in sales? So that's kind of what I do, and I split them up. I don't keep them all together. I kind of looks like I've begun doing a little bit of that, so I've got to do my best to separate anything that's under $25, get it over to the secondary store. and keep the higher ASP items up. It's probably something I'm going to work on this weekend and get things kind of moved back and forth. And there's really no simple way to do it. I'm not willing to go and buy an InkFrog 30-day membership just to move about 5 listings in either direction. So I want to know what you guys think. Just some food for thought. How is your store set up? Do you have all your items listed together regardless of price or demand? You're just putting them together. I think that could be a problem. That could be what is holding you back, because your store has a conversion rate. And if you allow lower demand items to be in your store, then that will affect in a negative way your conversion rate. And once you split them up, then you will notice a difference in sales, in my opinion. And this is what I've done. This is how we've been successful on the platform. And we weren't successful until we actually did this one thing, and that's splitting them up into 2 different stores. So I want to know what your thoughts are down below. Again, there's no right or wrong way to sell on eBay. Whether you're selling low ASP stuff in high volume or higher ASP stuff in lower volume, well, I think a lot of that boils down to what you're able to come across. But figuring all that out and what's right for you is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. I want you guys to have an excellent rest of your day, and we will talk to you here very soon. Take care.
Chargebacks, returns, and lowball offers too. Barrel takedowns, they're a pain. What can we do? High selling fees, bad buys, and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. With flipping ain't easy, by your side. Sourcing great items is the key to success. Subscribe to the channel and stand above the rest. Focus on the things that are within your control. Hang with flipping ain't easy. Let's roll. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast Profit Playbooks. The name with Scott and Josh. Flipping's more than a game. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. With flipping ain't easy, by your side. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast Profit Playbooks. The name with Scott and Josh. Flipping's more than a game. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. Flipping ain't easy, by your side. Sourcing great items is the key to success. Subscribe to the channel and stand above the rest. Focus on the things that are within your control. Hang with flipping ain't easy. Let's roll. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast Profit Playbooks. The name with Scott and Josh. Flipping's more than a game. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast Profit Playbooks. The name with Scott and Josh. Flipping's more than a game. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. Flipping ain't easy, by your side.